Chapter 10 Misa. Misa, our soon-to-be forced upon us girlfriend. The next day, Monday morning, October 3rd. Completely oblivious to my absence during the night, Sarah's morning ritual followed the same pattern as always. Wake up, prepare for school, drag my carcass out of bed, make breakfast, and then depart. As has become apparent lately, however, it's not an easy routine to follow when said carcass doesn't return home until the early hours of the morning. But after preparing a bowl of cereal for her worthless brother and kissing him goodbye, Sara indeed carried on with her day as usual, leaving me with the privacy I needed to work. Weaponry, next-gen armor, all sorts of high-tech gadgets. Everything in here is a decade ahead of its time. It's a wonder Adder even bothers with their fake wonder drugs. It's obvious that their primary source of income doesn't stem from selling medication. The stuff in here looks like it was taken directly out of some sci-fi series. If anyone else had presented me with these, there's no way in hell I'd have believed them. It's all postmodern stuff that nobody in their right mind would come up with. I mean, really? An oscillating blade? What the hell is that? And these personal flight pods? What the fuck, are we Dragon Ball Z now? Flight pods. How can you mount submachine guns to the front of a vehicle, yet still claim it's for transport? Everything in here is a weapon, or made for some kind of war. Do Adder supply the military with this stuff? Are they actually an intelligence agency, like out of a James Bond film? Or are Adder trying to build an empire, just like Karasu? Knowing my luck, that's exactly what's going on. Karasu and Adder, both rushing to build their empires with me stuck in the middle, working for the side without a multi-billion-dollar international corporation. All the money in the world isn't sufficient payment for going up against Adder, and I've settled on a single house. Just as my stress levels seemed to be rising, I cast a glance at the clock, realizing just what time it was. Among the many work-related matters swirling around my head, there was still one event which could go either way. And even if I had many reservations about my job in general, there was no excuse to keep my date waiting. Oh yeah. Leaving my house later than intended, I arrived at Central Park right on time. The thing about this is, I would actually be scared to arrive on a date with Misa, just knowing how much of a deadly killer she is, Because that's the thing about this. Normally, it would actually, as a guy, you're not supposed to be late on a date. You're supposed to show up early. Yeah, that's sort of the thing, I guess. But the consequences in a normal relationship would be far less worse than if it were to be with Misa. Holy crap, she'd be like, what? You just showed up 1 minute late. Chuck! And she just cuts off one of your fingers and you're like, oh shit. Well, I don't know. I feel like it might. I mean, we don't know her at all, other than knowing that she's just part of, Karasu's crew, and actually just one of his, the one of the killers or hired assassins that she trusts the most, along with apparently me. Well, I don't know if he trusts me very much, but he sees a lot of potential in me, and he's trying to shape me into what I'm guessing is to be one of his most talented and best future trained killers or assassins that he sort of wants for his crew, right? He sees a lot of potential in us, that's sort of the thing, and that's why he wants us to be trained and go on these special secret missions with both Sai and Misa. Oh god. I arrived at Central Park right on time. I had to push through a surprising amount of foot traffic, and I almost lost my way a couple of times, but at the pace I was walking, I somehow managed. Phew, there are more people out than I expected. Most people should be at work or school by now, so I thought the streets would be relatively empty. Unfortunately, being such a busy part of the city, that's rarely the case. Aww, she actually kind of looks sad, oh, he's late, he's not showing up after all. Well, that's gonna cost him 2 fingers. As I wandered around the area, silently cursing Sai's vague meeting place of Central Park, I soon set my eyes on my partner for the morning. Waiting under the sun's harsh rays was Misa, who already seemed to be enduring the repercussions of her choice in clothing. Between her decision to wear a black jumper and the fact that she was waiting in the direct sunlight, the heat was no doubt taking its toll on her, causing visible sweat to form on her face and neck. Is it me, or does from her drawing her neck looks very thin and long? Like, her face actually seems really normal, but then when you like go over her from head to toe, like there's something really peculiar and strange about her neck, I feel. Might just be me, but it seems like it just doesn't fit for some reason. Like how her neck and shoulders are starting to connect and everything, I don't know. Maybe she's a turtle, I don't know. Why the heck is she wearing a jumper on a day like today? For that matter, why hasn't Misa just removed her jumper? She's obviously very uncomfortable. For reasons beyond my knowledge, Misa continued to endure the unpleasant rays of the morning sun, sweating profusely as she waited for her partner. What if Sai is like a really overprotective father, and she's like, "No, you cannot wear any shirts with short sleeves. Hell no. What is that? A see-through shirt? Hell no, not on my watch." Like, I wouldn't even doubt the fact that Sai would be like that, you know? And the thing about this, once again, is that, like, oh my god, it's even worse to know that not only Misa is a trained killer, you know, that dating her might have worse repercussions if you were to screw up. Not only for her, but her father as well, and even a more dangerous trained killer. So yeah, I feel like this is almost not necessarily a lose-lose situation, but it's like 90% lose, 10% win. I feel like it's not 50-50, definitely not. He needs to be like really on his toes and be very careful around them, I feel. It will be cruel of me to keep Misa waiting any longer. Time to begin our morning together. Why does she look at least like... She looks very different here, I feel. Like, comparing that CG image from now and just like the character image here, she looks very different, especially her eyes and stuff. I don't know what it is. Huh? Good morning, Misa. She bows. Aw, so polite. Huh? Okay, this has gotta be the most odd... Can she even talk? I don't think I've ever heard her talk. I guess my greeting didn't merit a reply. Oh well, no use dwelling on it. First of all, we need to decide on what we'll do for the day. I haven't really given it any thought, but we should be able to kill at least a few hours, right? Besides, it's for Misa's sake that we're here. Surely she has a destination in mind. So, have you given any thought as to where you'd like to go? Shake. She really doesn't talk. Or not? Apparently it's up to me after all. Where would be a good place to take a nice young girl with a habit of killing people? I know the perfect place. Alright, Misa, we're going out and playing laser tag. No? Okay, she's not excited about that at all. How about a museum? I'm sure a city of this size must have one. Sai did want me to teach her about this culture after all, and a girl as quiet as Misa would be most welcome there. The look on her face says she's not that excited about a museum. No good, huh? Sai may want our outing to be educational, but it doesn't mean Misa feels the same way. I can't blame her for not wanting to go on an educational facility during her free time. Or perhaps Misa simply doesn't want to be here with me. It's not as though I ever saw her father actually ask if she wanted to go, or Misa asked Sai and Sai is asking on Misa's behalf, but not letting us know that Misa's actually interested in us. Could be that, but I have no idea why she would be interested in us, other than just, you know, first impressions or something, or just, I don't know, like love at first sight or something along those lines, because they haven't even talked to each other ever, I feel. I mean, besides the fact that they haven't really talked much, she still sort of slept on her shoulder, but that was during a meeting, and it was probably, if any person would have been beside her, she would have slept on his shoulder as well, so I don't think that's considered anything special. She was just really tired. We could go to the pool? Or maybe the movies? This girl does speak English, right? Fine. Let's just walk around town. And she nods. Okay, is she a mute? Is she just really shy? Or like, I could understand if she is really shy and then Sai's goal with pairing me and Misa together is to sort of get her out of her shell and make her feel less shy and more comfortable. It could be that, but I don't know, like, she's definitely not talking on purpose, right? We've asked her several questions, which any normal person would at least give an answer to in words, so she's definitely not talking on purpose, but the reason for it, no clue. So this is what the city is like during the day, huh? When I was with Marcus, we spent a lot of time traveling between targets, but we mostly just sat on public transport and went for short walks around smaller districts. Actually walking around in the heart of the city like this during broad daylight is just awful. Misa and I started off walking with a meter or so between us, but as the crowd grew thicker, Misa inched closer to my side. You're not a fan of crowds either, huh? I don't know how do I even make sounds that would accurately describe what she's sort of trying to say while not saying anything at all. Oh my god, this is so awkward. I figured as much. Even without Misa saying a word, she clearly feels uncomfortable. And who could blame her? Stuck with someone who's more or less a stranger, walking down crowded streets in a sweltering heat, dressed in a sweater. But while I can't help the fact that she's stuck with me, I can at least do something about her other sources of discomfort. Oh yeah, going to the shopping mall. Seeking to ease Misa's heat exhaustion, I escorted her to a nearby mall, wherein we immediately reveled in the cool air. Feeling better now? Oh, that's somewhat talking? And she nods. She isn't the only one. On a hot day like today, you really can't beat free air conditioning. Better yet, while there still are more people here than I'd like, it isn't as crowded as on the street. As far as venues go, this has to be... Before Misa and I could venture any further inside and visit any of the stores, the sound of her stomach growling reached my ears. Hungry? Well, we have been walking around for a while. Let's eat, shall we? Oh my god, how is she even going to order food? Is she just going to point? Is she like going to put up the amount of fingers of the number in the menu that she wants? That's gonna be tough if she wants like item 45 on the list. How is she even gonna say that? Like 10, 10, 10, and then 5? I guess that would be 45. Okay, that's less harder than I figured, but still. As Misa and I approached the shopping center's food court, we found ourselves swarmed by people once again. We were able to place our orders easily enough, with Misa simply pointing at what she wanted, but with so many people around, I doubted whether or not we'd get a seat. Okay, that actually went a lot easier. She just simply points. I guess that works too. Why do I make things too complicated, huh? Honestly, how do we get stuck with the midday rush? We couldn't have been walking around for that long. And whose bright idea was it to buy lunch in a crowded food court anyway? At least when Marcus and I were collecting, the restaurants we visited were practically empty. Yeah, that was for a reason, you know? They're empty because their business wasn't going well, which is why they were like resorting to doing criminal activities, and that's the reason why they owed us money anyway and why we're collecting money from them. So, you know, there's definitely a reason why those restaurants were empty. Like, if they were booming with people, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't owe any money to Karasu or whatever. If the crowd doesn't disperse soon, we're going to end up eating while standing. Aww. After receiving our orders and marking our way to a less crowded part of the food court, Misa and I found seats at last. In front of me was my order of chicken curry, and before Misa sat her fried rice with sweet pork. Oh yeah, fried rice with sweet pork, delicious. The smell alone was enough to make me salivate, especially after walking around with so little in my stomach all morning, so I couldn't wait to dig in. But as I looked across at Misa, oh, don't tell me, do we have to feed her too or something? Like, is the only thing that she can do is kill, and other than that she's incompetent with everything else? No, that's not the case, right? It can't be that. She didn't seem to share my enthusiasm. Did she get the wrong order? Is something wrong? Like, we really have to pay attention to her facial expression to sort of understand what she's trying to say with the dots, because all the dots usually mean something different, right? Is it possible that I misunderstood Misa's order? She did make her selection with the point of a finger after all. Or perhaps Misa herself got the order wrong. Sai did make it sound like Misa isn't overly familiar with this country, and I haven't heard her speak a word of English. No, wait. I know what this is. And Sara thinks I can't read people. Never used a knife and fork before, huh? Oh my god. Like this. I showed Misa how to cut the pork, then scooped up some pork and rice with the fork and brought it to her mouth. Now that's what I like to see. Sara would probably call me intolerant for assuming that was the issue, but you can't argue with the results. I guess she's only used to eating with chopsticks. Just as I can use a knife and fork, but can't figure out chopsticks, there's no shame in reverse being true. I'm actually Asian, but in the Philippines we actually don't eat with chopsticks at all. We just eat with our hands, which is something I've learned to do, both from my mother and the times that I visited in the Philippines. Like, they actually do it in a really efficient way, but I'm still used to eating with fork and knife and that sort of stuff, because that's just how you eat in I guess Europe, you know. But I visit like Asian restaurants fairly frequently with my girlfriend. That's usually where we just go out if we want to go out for dinner or something. And I struggled learning to eat with chopsticks. I'm somewhat decent at it now, but dang, is it kind of hard to do. Like, often enough, like, I try to pick up a tiny piece. Sometimes it works. Like, sometimes it feels like I have off days and on days where I'm like on point. And, you know, I need to find a good grip of the chopsticks. When I find a good grip and I found it and I feel comfortable with it, I'm not even moving my hand or whatever. I'm just holding the chopsticks for the rest of the evening in that position. And then sometimes I can pick up the really, really tiny pieces and just eat it. Other times I really struggle and the small piece just keeps falling out. And I'm like, oh god dang it, why can't I have a fork or something? But you can actually request for it, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, I want to be in the spirit. I'm half Asian. I need to embrace the Asian culture as well. So I like eating with chopsticks, but I'm not that good of it most of the time. Not that Misa seems to be having any such issue now. She's a much faster learner than I am. I'll give her that. She looks so happy. Like, yes, I can finally eat. Too easy, huh? As I looked at Misa's radiant smile, I forgot all about her occupation and sketchy life, if only for a moment. Whether the girl in front of me was truly a ruthless killer, an unfortunate victim of her father's career, or something in between, all I could see was a young girl enjoying her time above ground. Like, honestly, yeah, if you just were to look at this picture and you knew nothing about her background, you knew nothing about her whatsoever, you would just think like, oh, that's a sweet high school girl, normal girl, right? How wrong you would be. She would just stab you in the throat just for guessing that wrong alone. Misa began to happily cut into her food once more, no longer barred by the minor lack of understanding, preventing her from letting loose. You know, Misa is actually making it kinda easy for me, because I don't have to do her voice. Cha-ching! Thank you, Misa. Wow, Misa must have been hungry. Just look at her go. Speaking of which, if I don't hurry up, Misa's going to finish without me. Oh yeah, let's nom nom our chicken curry. After eating our fill, during which I spent most of my time trying not to laugh at Misa's enthusiasm, the two of us walked around the mall, looking for ways to kill time. We didn't actually visit many stores, but given our goal for the day, I'd say the trip was a success. Continuing to betray the reserved image she earned earlier, Misa excitedly pointed to store after store, quickly eating time as we wandered around aimlessly. I fulfilled my duty as a tour guide by explaining the purpose behind each venue, but for the most part, my explanations appeared to go in one ear and out the other. Either Misa already knew exactly what the venues were for, or she'd rather go in and experience them firsthand. Wouldn't it just be so freaking awkward if it turns out she doesn't understand English at all, and we've just been talking in English to her the entire day, assuming that she understands us, but she's just too shy to talk or something? That would be kinda weird, right? Having passed the initial hurdle of awkwardness, the time Misa and I spent together soon passed, and before I knew it, it was time to see her off. We hadn't agreed on an exact time, but with the sun setting and my sister's return quickly approaching, I thought it was time to end our outing. As per my agreement with Sai, I escorted Misa back to the all too familiar arena. I wasn't told of an exact drop-off point, but this should be fine, right? Karasu's office is only a short walk from here, and I presume that Misa's home, wherever it may be, can't be too far from here either. Alright, this is it. I guess I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. What is it? And then she waves, I'm assuming to say goodbye. Bye-bye. Weirdo. Despite the fact that she never said a word, Misa took off with a smile, broadcasting her enjoyment without reservation. Okay, I'm really curious what the deal is. Come on. Is it just simply she's too shy, or is she not able to talk English? I feel like it's gotta be either one of those, right?